Hey folks, this is Dave Anderson, Helicool's Helipad. Kick back and enjoy this future steel building's Quonset Hut building build. It comes with detailed instructions and engineering prints if you have to apply for a building permit in your area. I first scouted out the area I wanted to build my building. I knew it was a little slope, but I wanted to know by how much, so I set up a laser transit to get a good idea of the terrain.
Yes, I know I cheated, and maybe you don't have a transit and a laser level, that kind of thing. You don't have to, really. I mean, if you just have a level, this is a 4-foot level, works great, old school, proven technology. And if you got a square and a tape measure, you can pretty much do this without the high technology. Really, is it even that high a technology these days? All right, not everybody has a laser level, but these things can very easily do the job for you. You know, if you measure something in the diagonal and it's the same measurement one side than the other, then you know that you're building a square. It's easy. It's very simple. And I've pretty much got my forms almost all the way done. I'm gonna have to do some backfill because, well, as you can see down here, the terrain slopes that direction. So I'm gonna have to fill that in. The plans require 12 inches below surface, 4 inches above. Well, 2x4s were cheaper than 1x4s, so I got 2x4s. There's my 4 inches above. I just have to dig a ditch in the proper location. Well, these are not going to do me any good at all because I'm using 2x4 and not 1x4. So these will not fit. But I'm going to figure out a way to use them anyway. Well, I'm a resourceful guy. At least I think so. 22 years in the military has taught me to be that way. So I'm going to take this and put it in the vise and see if I can just bend it back straight. Well, that's not too bad. Now for the other side. It holds these in place at the 12-inch mark, so I can still use these. Where I don't need them, I'm still going to use them anyway, but I'm just going to throw them into the concrete because steel inside of concrete makes that concrete just a little bit stronger. So where I need them, I'll use them. Where I don't need them, I'll still use them. Where I have a great deal of space to make up, I've gone ahead and put another 2x4. And when I've even got a greater spot, well, that's two 2x4s plus the weed block material. That should at least hold the concrete in while it is being poured.
Much later.
With no little amount of hard work and sweat on the brow, I have refined the hole. Foundation is looking really, really good. And it is 18 inches deep all the way around. Kind of refined the sides a bit to make sure that it is proper for engineering. "18 inches all the way around." I can't underestimate the value of having family members nearby. And you just don't realize how many people it takes to have, not only this done, but also fill in those other holes. But I think this turned out really good. Able to get a bullnose finish on the outside. Hey guys, well, this is day 3 since the concrete was poured, and I've just set these in place. I haven't taken up any of the formers yet, but right away, putting all these in place, it looks like I got spot on with the measurements. Whew. My calculations for this, I used just an online calculator for cubic yards of concrete, 18 by 12 by 75, just kind of rounded up just slightly. And that ended up being 4.17 yards of concrete, about $185 per yard. So just kind of think it's probably going to be, about just under $1,000 if you have taxes or that kind of stuff in your state. I ordered just a little bit more. Actually ordered 5 yards so I could do those other projects for the Connex. It all turned out great. I did opt for a 12-inch wall on this side. It's not necessary. I just kept it at 12 inches wide all the way around. But you can go a little bit narrower. As you can see, I'm going to have plenty of concrete left on the inside. That's fine. It looks gorgeous. I laid it all out and marked the holes, the hammer drill, and I've begun to drill the holes, carefully marking this out, of course, for the engineering prints. I'm going to take some compressed air, blow these out, and even though the connectors, the anchors, don't require it, I'm also going to put some epoxy down the hole when I put the anchor in. Well, it did rain a bit, but got the first side in. And yes, I've been putting caulking on the bottom around the hole and the top. But it is in the first side. 2 beads of caulking all the way down the lineal And then of course in between where it joins together. Oh, by the way, introduction here. Here's my buddy, Army buddy, all the way from Nevada to help me with this building. You know, that's what brothers, soldiers, brothers do for one another.
That's right.
Amen. Thank you. After looking at the engineering and reading them up, we decided just to put 2 of these on. We're gonna build a little work platform in the middle and then assemble the rest of the truss on it and then pick it up with the bucket truck. Of course, we have all of the larger 9/16 bolts down below and then started with the 1/2 inch just in the center. Maybe I should set up a time lapse. Well, the first one is always a learning game, and what we decided to do is get the bucket truck out, lift this section into the air, and then attach the side pieces, which then attach to the lower wall. So, yep, that's the method to our madness. Let's see if this works. Keep your fingers crossed. The first one is always the biggest pain because it's a learning experience. You see I've got some, I don't know if you could tell, but there's a guy rope there and an orange one out over here. See if I can zoom in on that. It's really wobbly. Our plan is to get 2 of them up and bolt it together pretty nice, because we are not going to do the bracing and climb up on top of this. Nah, we just don't want to do that. So we figure we get 2 of them in place really nice and then just keep bolting them in place as we go. First one is almost done.
Well, like my friend was just telling me, there's always a learning curve to everything. And I think that we're going to do something just a little bit out of the ordinary. We'll see how this works, but we think that it's going to be good and it's going to work out fine for us. You guys stay tuned. For stability reasons, we decided to put the very center on. I know it doesn't really look like it because of this angle, but we put the very center 2 pieces on so that we knew that it was at the correct height when we start tightening down things, because we're a little impatient. We're not waiting until the whole thing is done, because we're not planning on putting those inside braces and crawling on top of this to do that. So we are tightening the number 1 rib, not the number 2. When we put number 3 rib on, we'll tighten 2, and so forth and so forth. And it seems to be working out if you have a good spud wrench or a couple of spud wrenches.
All right, Ski, tell me about this tool you made.
Well, you actually came up with the idea for the PVC tube, but I took a universal joint, a 1/2 inch universal joint, and a 1/2 inch socket, so it would fit the thing. We wrapped some duct tape around that to fit inside the pipe so it's tight. We load it up with a nut, and I can just push it right up there and kind of line it up, and it swivels so I can get it to the curvature of the angles in there, and by the time it starts, you know, it's enough friction, and he's already got it ripped down, and it just tightens right up. It's brilliant, if I do say so myself.
That's right. If we have to say so ourselves, it's brilliant.
But please feel free to use it, because, you know, if a tool that works, that's all that matters.
I believe we have things kind of wired up now. So what we're doing is we just put the middle section on. This is the peak. And then we have one other section and another section. Of course, we bolt these together. We use the bucket truck to lift these into place, which you may not have that, but you know what? We're working with 2 people here and not 4 or 5. So we got to do what we got to do. So next I'm going to show you the pattern that we bolt these things together, and it makes things go super nice, and we can tighten all the way. We don't have to keep things loose, and it is a near perfect connection. And this thing is like sturdy as can be, and I'll show you just how we do that. Just finger tight.
Yeah, up to fine.
That method of leapfrogging makes everything line up perfect. And if it's not lined up perfect, you can always use your centering tool to get it that way. But once it's perfect like this, you know that you can just go for it. I always leave one that I have a good sight glass on, one in each area. And you want to tighten from this ridge, this direction. When all of these are tightened,
What's that?
you can see that it's a perfect hole for your next set. And we move on. So keep going up the ridge line, making sure that it is properly aligned with your spuds. As soon as you get up to this area where these two are, just put those two in, and then of course work this way, and it'll line everything up. You see, it's not terribly lined up, but it will be. Just like butter. Now that we're at the peak, we're not going to do any of this peak until the last. So we're going to go back down to the other side and work our way back up the spine, and then tighten each of the parts that hold the two roof sections together. So work from that side, then before you get to the top, come back to this side, and then you'll finish all of these at the top. Hey guys, if you've made it this far, I thank you so very much for watching. And if I've earned your subscription, then please do. It's free. Take a look at my second video. It's coming out pretty soon. And if you're watching this many moons later, it's probably already out. So I'll leave a link over here or up there in this kind of area for you to check those things out. Click on it. You're not going to want to miss the exciting conclusion of building this little Quonset hut. It was a lot of fun, and this is going to be a very, very needed building. Until next time, I'm Dave Anderson signing out. You guys be safe, and God bless.